Before we start today's video, I'm going to ask you to take a good look at this picture. Take a good look at it. Do you recognize this little bearded man leaning on a long cane and smiling in front of the photographer's lens, in a mountainous landscape? This man, whom you probably took for a shepherd, is none other than former Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. That's right. I'm sure you had a hard time recognizing him, didn't you? But let me ask you a question first. What do you know about this man, apart from the fact that he was the ultra-conservative president of the Islamic Republic of Iran from 2005 to 2013? What was his job? What does he do in his spare time? How does he live today? Well, that's what we will discover together in this video. Let's go. A trimmed beard, the simplest style of clothing, and a face that is almost always radiant. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has kept, and will always keep, the image of a modest and popular man in his country and even elsewhere. This blacksmith's son, born in the province of Semnan on the 28th of October 1956, has always cultivated the image of a man of the people. He is well remembered for his first presidential campaign. The man who was mayor of Tehran from 2003 to 2005 did not hesitate to appear on Iranian television, dressed in a garbage collector's outfit, and sweeping the streets. Once he became president, he kept his modest house and continued to drive a cheap car, also assuring himself that he did not receive any money in exchange for his office. Nearly 7 years after he left the presidency, the 63-year-old man wasted no time. Although he has left the Iranian political scene, about 2 years ago he made a name for himself again by appearing in a photo that quickly made a buzz on the internet. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad converted into a shepherd? Well, this is what Turkish social networks revealed in August 2018, after the appearance of this photo, which was widely shared by internet users. The photo in question shows the former Iranian president leaning on a stick in the middle of a campaign. We learned that this man had decided to leave politics to go and live the life of a shepherd in the Iranian mountains, and that he was tending herds of sheep in the afternoon to help his brothers. As you can imagine, this information has since circulated well on social networks. And yet, this picture, and all the comments that went with it, turned out to be pure intoxication, nothing more. First of all, it should be noted that the photo was taken in 2017, 1 year before the rumor, during a trip to Kandilus, a tourist village in northern Iran. Moreover, the former Iranian president was not alone there. Indeed, when you see the whole photo, you can see that he is posing next to Abdarreza Sheikhul Islami, his former Minister of Labor, and that there are no sheep with them. Thus, contrary to what many internet users have believed, the new life of the former president is far from being rural. But it is said that this photo had a well-calculated political objective. Indeed, internet users used it to salute the former Iranian president's simplicity and modesty, comparing them to the pomp and luxury lifestyle that some politicians lead in their country. It must be said that internet users who express their anger towards the sumptuous train of politicians are often very receptive to this kind of rumor. In fact, on many Facebook pages that have published this famous photo, we can read on the legends that have appeared there that former President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad chose to raise sheep in his village, unlike those who take taxpayers' money as soon as they retire. This is a fine example of modesty and a model for many. But it must be said that the former Iranian president has always been like that, and he continues to be so. This father of 3 children now leads a simple life since he ceased to be president. Do you also know what his real job is these days? Well, at the end of his second term, this former engineering professor returned to his job. He now teaches at the Iranian University of Science and Technology in Tehran, where he earned a doctorate in civil engineering and logistics in 1987. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad lives with his wife, also a professor, and their 3 children in a modest house in Narmak, a middle-class neighborhood east of Tehran. It was in this working-class neighborhood that he and his family settled when he was a young child. To get to work, the former president, who used to drive his old Peugeot 504 when he was still head of state, now uses public transport. That's right, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad takes the bus every day to go to university, just like any other citizen. It's hard to imagine, and yet it's a completely natural thing for this former officer of the Revolutionary Guards, who made the world tremble with his provocative and direct remarks and his incessant speeches about Iran's nuclear program. On the other hand, he is allegedly still under protection by a government bodyguard team, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So now you have an idea of the daily life of the former president of Iran. Ordinary days that resemble those of millions of Iranians who go to work every day and come home in the evening to spend pleasant moments with their families. A step in the man's career, that of 2 presidential terms, was therefore taken a few years ago. But that would not prevent him from taking part in a few more political activities, albeit more discreet ones. However, it seems that Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who obviously still likes to express his ideas and use his outspokenness, has found a new passion and a good way to say what's on his mind: Twitter. This is something that has baffled many. As surprising as it may seem, the former Iranian president opened an account on this social network in 2017, which he himself had banned in Iran when he was still in power. For a long time, we thought it was a fake account, but no, it is not a fake account. The former head of the state does have a Twitter account, and he doesn't hesitate to flood the platform with tweets to express his opinion on this or that thing or to convey messages. Some of the tweets he has already posted have sometimes been dubious and have appeared confusing on various occasions, to the point of sowing doubt in the minds of internet users who have wondered whether the former Iranian president's account had not been hacked by chance. Well, no. Well, it's true that on many occasions, we have seen him use this social network to publish tweets that look just like him. For example, when it comes to talking about the inequalities of wealth that exist in the world, or when it comes to the participation of civil society in bringing about political reforms, Mr. Ahmadinejad almost always answers present on Twitter. Moreover, he seems to have developed an interest in women's rights. No, this is no joke. As ultra-conservative as he may be, the former Iranian president, who was once known for his repression of feminist movements, now seems to take the women's cause to heart. But his interests don't stop there. On Twitter, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad also expresses himself on another of his favorite subjects: sport. The former Iranian head of state is a great sports enthusiast and a great football fan in particular. According to one of his old friends, this activity was his only hobby during his childhood. You should also remember that it was he who, as soon as he became president of his country, lifted the ban on Iranian women's access to stadiums and allowed them to attend football matches. And you have probably not forgotten the match he played a few years ago with former Bolivian President Evo Morales, another football enthusiast. That match, which was more than just a sporting match as it represented friendship between Iran and Bolivia, also showed Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in a different light. In short, a head of state with more than one talent. And then, not so long ago, the former Iranian president made it clear that he was interested in American football too. Still, through Twitter, he even showed that he supported the Michigan Wolverines team and wished them glory, in a message full of encouragement for which he was even thanked. But it's not just football or American football that seems to interest this great sports enthusiast. Indeed, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is a jack of all trades, and he does not hesitate to express his point of view with his usual frankness, as we have already mentioned. To give you an example, just look at the tweet he published when he expressed his support for American basketball player LeBron James. LeBron James argued with President Donald Trump after Trump insulted him by calling him an idiot and comparing him to Michael Jordan. In his tweet published on August 5, 2018, the former Iranian president addressed the American president and urged him to love everyone. Mr. Real Donald Trump, I think everyone, especially the president, should love everyone and not make any differences. I love King James. #Michael Jordan, Rauf Mahmoud and all the athletes and wish them all the best. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was also astonished when, a few days after this first tweet posted, he took the defense of another star of the sports world, professional tennis player Serena Williams. As a reminder, the suit worn by the American player on the court during the 2018 edition of the Roland Garros had created controversy and generated a great deal of debate. And like thousands of internet users who use Twitter, Mr. Ahmadinejad also used this social network to express his indignation at the comments made by Bernard Giudicelli, the president of the French Tennis Federation. For example, the former Iranian head of state was seen tweeting a particularly striking tweet about the American tennis player: "Why is the French Open disrespectful to Serena Williams?" Unfortunately, there are people in every country, including my own, who have not understood the true meaning of freedom. Well, this is unlikely support, especially when you look at the ultra-conservative former president's past, and her policies towards women and their freedoms. Well, it's all sobering. But it has to be said that for some experts, this is indeed a new communication strategy adopted nowadays by the former Iranian president. Today, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad uses social networks, notably Twitter, and gives the impression of being a changed man and rather open to the world. And who knows, maybe it will also change the world's view of Iran. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was and will remain for many, an ultra-conservative politician, a tough one among the tough guys who ruled Iran with an iron fist and stood alone against the West. But for many others, and outside of his controversial politics, he is, and always will be, a simple and modest man like few others in this world. Thus, you have discovered another facet of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the man behind the president who has led Iran for 2 successive terms. So, tell us, what do you think of him? Did you know him like that? What other information would you have to tell us about Mahmoud Ahmadinejad? Leave us your answers in the comments.